My heart is where the Hebrew home is. For where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew home. Hebrew home, Hebrew home. Good morning, Hebrew home. My home, my heart. My heart is where the Hebrew home is. For where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew home.
Good morning, everyone. I am your host, Olivia Cohen, coming in live from the Dörfner Judaica Museum here at the Hebrew Home. And this is Good Morning Hebrew Home. Today is Monday, June 15th, and the time is 10:31 a.m. I want to take a moment just to zoom on into our mailbox here. You can, Allison behind the camera. Our red flag is up, which means that we have viewer mail. So I will take this out. Our viewer mail is from Fred on Jared 2, and his question was, why wasn't Pepe wearing a mask on the show? Pepe was here with Maribel. If you guys saw, it was a really funny, entertaining, and wonderful interview. Pepe, we wanted to hear Pepe and really see him in all his glory, so he wasn't wearing a mask. But Fred also says that he actually really looks forward to watching the show every morning. So we're so glad that you are watching, Fred, and thanks for being our first viewer mail. So today is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. World Elder Abuse Awareness Day happens each year on June 15th. It was officially recognized by the United Nations General Assembly on December 2011, following a request by the International Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse, who first established the commemoration in June 2006. It represents the one day in the year when the whole world voices its opposition to the abuse and suffering inflicted to some of our older generations. And a little later, we will have Tristan Sullivan-Wilson joining us to talk a little bit more, our staff attorney at the Elder Weinberg Elder Center, to talk more about World Elder Abuse Day. We have a great show planned for you today, so let's get into the news. Let's take a look at the weather in our neck of the woods. Today will be partly cloudy with a high of 76 degrees. Let's move to this day in history. June 15th, 1878. The world's first moving pictures caught on camera used 12 cameras, each taking one picture, done to see if all four of a horse's hooves leave the ground. So that is like a very popular picture to see the first images of movement. 1960 and June 15th, The Apartment, directed by Billy Wilder and starring Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine, premieres in New York. It won the Academy Awards Best Picture in 1961. Also this day, 1965, Bob Dylan records the single Like a Rolling Stone, which was #1 in Rolling Stone magazine's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time. Also, 1994, Disney's animated musical film The Lion King, which was a movie that I really liked, opens in theaters with $42 million. Our famous birthday for today, Mario Cuomo, Sr. He was born in 1932. He was the governor from 1983 to 1995. He was born in New York and was an American politician and member of the Democratic Party. He served as the 52nd governor of New York for 3 terms, from 1983 to 1994. He was lieutenant governor of New York from 1979 to 1982, and secretary of state of New York from 1975 to 1978. Cuomo was known for his liberal views and public speeches, particularly his keynote speech address at the 1984 Democratic National Convention, in which he sharply criticized the policies of the Reagan administration, saying, "Mr. President, you ought to know that this nation is more a tale of two cities than just a shining city on the hill. He was widely considered a potential frontrunner for the Democratic nomination for presidency in both 1988 and 1992. Though he declined to seek the nomination in both instances, his legacy as a reluctant standard-bearer for Democrats in presidential elections led to his being dubbed Hamlet on the Hudson. Here's a quote from Cuomo. He says, "Every minute brings a new opportunity, and every minute brings new growth and new experiences." Speaking of birthdays, we don't have any resident birthdays today, but I thought I would share some staff birthdays. So in nursing, we have Adijat and Gladys celebrating birthdays today. We also have Wendell in housekeeping. So happy birthday to our staff as well. Today's lunch will be meatloaf with mushroom gravy, peas, and mashed potatoes with fresh grapes for dessert. Dinner will be mushroom barley, fish croquettes, stewed tomatoes, and strawberry applesauce for dessert. So we have here joining us today, we also have a live studio audience, guys. First time, no pressure. But we have some folks from the Weinberg Center joining us today, and here we have Tristan joining us. Welcome.
Hi.
So happy to have you on the show today. Why don't you tell those watching a little bit about what you do here?
Yeah, so I'm a staff attorney at the Weinberg Center, the newest. I've been here about 8 months now.
Welcome.
Thank you. And glad for all the emotional support. I help with our multidisciplinary team. I think we've had a few Weinberg folks on the show, so everyone knows.
We love Weinberg. Our Good Morning Hebrew home.
Yes. And so I'm one of the staff attorneys learning a lot from my colleagues and working with the social workers there to support the folks who have come to the Hebrew home through the Weinberg Center, which is like a virtual shelter for older adults who have experienced abuse in the community.
Right, right. And so you're joining us today also because it is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day.
Yes.
I did a little bit. Can you talk a little bit more about what today means?
Yeah, you did a lovely introduction.
Thank you.
So World Elder Abuse Awareness Day is the day where we sort of gather collectively to commemorate and bring awareness and educate folks about elder abuse in the community and generally. So the statistics sort of are 1 in 10 older adults have experienced abuse, and it's really hard to tell if those numbers are like accurately or underreported because we also see in New York only 1 in 24 folks older adults experiencing abuse in the community are actually connected with services. So whatever it is, the social isolation or the sort of shame or stigma about coming out saying that you've experienced that abuse is sort of a barrier to people noticing or intervening in those cases. So World Elder Abuse Awareness Day is hopefully a way that people can better understand and be aware of the abuse of older adults that is happening. And this year it's falling, I think everyone can recognize, during a sort of a different time, a time where people are experiencing isolation in different and new ways. So one of the things we wanted to do this year to commemorate the day is to kind of turn inward to our Hebrew home community and sort of lift up the whole person of the folks that have come into shelter with us. So we have an art showcase at 42nd Street here today, and it has great stuff like some necklaces and paintings, some writing that current and former Weinberg residents have created, and it's really beautiful. So I encourage everyone to stop by 42nd Street at a safe distance and not to touch the art, but to look at it.
Oh, that's wonderful. And just for our YouTube watchers, that's 42nd Street here at the home, not the actual 42nd Street out in the world. We have our own little 42nd Street.
Next year.
Next year, oh, big. I love that. What are some ways that residents or viewers watching, we have a lot of families watching on YouTube, or I hope we're getting a really big following, and this is a great platform to share this.
Yeah.
What are some ways that people can participate in this day?
Yeah, I think one way to participate is to know that the day is happening at all, right? And
Step
sort of,
one.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and to know about the day is to sort of be aware about elder abuse and to be able to educate and that spread that awareness to folks around you. So saying to someone, if you speak to them, hey, did you know today is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day? And then being able to sort of share a couple red flags of elder abuse. So thinking about if you're noticing changes in someone's behavior, or they're particularly isolated, or changes in sort of their physical functioning, or any medical changes, or financial. And especially right now, I think a really important piece of it is making sure you're continuing to reach out and stay connected with folks. So I think one thing some of my colleagues are saying is it's not social distancing, it's physical distancing, and making sure that it's sort of more important than ever to maintain those social bonds and checking in with your community members.
Right. I think so interesting having this time right now where we are trying to find new ways to connect, but it is really so important to stay socially connected with everybody. And it's a very hard time with that added level of isolation, even more so than we've ever had before for people who are experiencing abuse or in situations that are, in more isolation than they would have been before. I know that we have also joining us today, who has been on the show before. We have Joyce Solomon here, who's the director of the Weinberg Center for Elder Justice, which is, join me in the green chair.
Great.
Hi again.
Hi, Olivia.
Welcome
Thanks for
back.
having me.
I'm gonna see if we can all be in the shot in some way.
There we go.
Great. So, Joy, I know that you have some stuff to share with us today as well.
I do. So, thanks to Tristan for...
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tiffany, our tech.
Thanks, Tiffany. I wanted to thank Tristan for talking about World Elder Abuse Awareness Day and kind of the big picture of elder abuse. But I wanted to take the chance to talk a little bit about the Weinberg Center in general. And, you know, at the Weinberg Center, we provide a safe place for older people who are in the community who are being mistreated and abused, often by their family members. So when they come here into the Hebrew home and they become residents during their time here, they often don't have family members. So they also really need, in addition to the support of our Weinberg team, our social workers and our lawyers, they also really need the support and help of our medical staff, our social service staff, and they really, really benefit from those services. So, but the Weinberg team really can't do the work alone. We need everybody in the Hebrew home to do it.
Yeah, it really takes a big team, and from what I'm seeing, just having conversations with everybody from Weinberg joining us, is that we are really all in this together. You guys really bring the residents in here, and we take care of them as we would in our shelter that we have here. It's a big community coming together.
Yeah, we feel really lucky to have the people in the bigger Hebrew home community to help us. Excuse me. So should I go to our next step?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
So one of the things that we do on World Elder Abuse Awareness Day is we take the time to recognize people in the greater Hebrew home community who have stepped up big time to really make the lives of our Weinberg clients as good as they can be. And we've brought them here today, although they don't know why they're here. So this is going to be an online surprise. So the first person we'd like to have call up would be Laverne Murdoch. So Laverne, could you come on up? So Laverne is the executive assistant to Dan Reingold, who is our CEO. And as long as I've been here for 15 years, Laverne has been here too. And we have worked together on many, many things. But what Laverne has done, I can't even count how many times, is adopted Weinberg clients as her own and really, really just taken them into her heart. So even though they come here with no family, when they leave, or if they stay, they have Laverne as an adopted person. So today, we are making you the Weinberg Honorary Team Member.
Aw, thank
So we
you.
present you with this award. And here's the award. It's the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Center for Elder Justice. Proudly recognizes Laverne Murdoch as our 2020 Honorary Weinberg Team Member.
Thank you. Thank you. This is so wonderful. Thank you. Oh, sure. Thank you. I'm so honored to receive this award, and I graciously accepted in honor of a former Weinberg client. Her name is Elizabeth Frazier, and August 31st, she'll be deceased 4 years. I'll never forget her, and she made sure I'll never forget her because she passed on the same day that my niece was born, so I'm able to keep up with, you know, the anniversary of her passing. But I think what you guys do is absolutely amazing, and thank you for making me a part of your team. Appreciate it, and I love you guys. Enjoy, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I want to call up Holly Fullmer. So we had Holly prepare something which she's not going to get to use today. Sorry about that, Holly. It's a little bit of a trick. But Holly, who is a nurse practitioner, we're recognizing you this year as our Elder Justice Hero Award. You got a lot of letters after your name, Holly. You'll have to tell us about what that is in a minute. But Holly is a zealous advocate for dignity and respect for the end-of-life wishes at our Hebrew home community, and really has done an amazing job to work to support end-of-life decision-making for many of our Weinberg clients within the court system. And this is really, really, really critical, Holly, and we are so grateful to your care and concern and advocacy along with our team. So we're happy to present to you and recognize you as the 2020 Elder Justice Hero.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
So this is such a big deal to me. I am so appreciative, and you know, I've been here 2 years now, and you know, I've nothing but idolized the interdisciplinary work that you do, and you know, really how you surround, you know, the residents you're involved in. And I feel fortunate, you know, as a nurse practitioner here on the floor on the dementia unit particularly, that I have the great opportunity, you know, to talk everything and you know, all that's going on out with you know, the team. You guys are my heroes, as is everybody here at the Hebrew Home. I thank you, you know, for all the support that I've gotten since I've begun, and you know, I thank you for taking incredible care of, you know, all of the individuals that we care so much about. This means a lot. Thank you again.
So this was so great. Thank you for letting us do our awards on live TV. Thanks a lot.
That was so wonderful to have the whole Weinberg, most of the Weinberg team here today. It was really wonderful to have a surprise on the show and to use the Good Morning Hebrew Home show as a platform to share what this day means to us, and how so many other staff really take part in helping our residents here and partnering with Weinberg, and they do amazing things. They really are our heroes here. And we are always talking about Hebrew Home heroes, and we can't say enough about the Weinberg team. So thanks for all of them joining us today. They're still here. So I am going to move into the positive news story, although today has already been so positive with all the things that we've done today. So, positive news story for today. The owner of a New Jersey frame shop has been unable to operate his business since late March. But that hasn't stopped him from taking over 500 trips to the grocery store for free for seniors staying at home to avoid exposure to coronavirus. Making deliveries is nothing new for Greg Daly. He has risen at 4 a.m. every morning to deliver newspapers for the past 25 years. What had always been a second job has now turned into his main source of income and an innovative way to be generous. It all started when an 88-year-old woman on his East Windsor route asked him to throw the newspaper closer to the door so that she wouldn't have to walk far to get it. He obliged without thinking much of it at the time. It was a few days later in line at the grocery store that he thought of her again. If she can't walk 20 feet to get her paper, how is she getting groceries? He told CNN. So I called her and asked if she needed anything. Tremendously grateful for this request, she asked him to pick up one small order for her and one for her neighbor across the street. It was then that Greg thought about the hundreds of other senior customers along his route and how he could make a world of a difference for them. So he decided to offer his services in a note attached to each newspaper he delivered. The need turned out to be enormous, and before long, Greg's wife, 3 children, and mother-in-law began to help in any way they could, answering the phone and taking shopping trips of their own. His tech-savvy 24-year-old daughter, Erin, created a spreadsheet system to keep track of the orders, right down to discount codes for each customer. While he does his best to coordinate with people via email, Greg still accepts notes on the doors of customers who find using technology difficult. When he's done with his paper route for the day, Greg and Erin go shopping and make deliveries until around 7 p.m., taking only a short break for lunch. They have been working every single day since March except for Easter Sunday. Grueling as it may sound, Greg says that the satisfaction keeps him from feeling tired. He hopes to reopen his frame shop this month, but even so plans to do whatever he can to help these seniors. And he is now working with the Florida-based charity Love a Senior to start a New Jersey chapter of the organization and get others involved in his inspiring work. His altruism has meant the world to people like Joan Coppinger, who has reported he has a good heart and a great soul. He's going straight to heaven. So that's another one of Hebrew home heroes that we have here today, and we have some heroes out in the world sharing those stories, trying to capture all the positive news that we can during this time for you all. That's our show for today, everyone. Remember to tune in later today to channel 88 to watch this episode at 6:30, or you can catch it on YouTube. And tune in later today on channel 8. We have Exercise with Deborah at 1:30, Your Hit Parade with Larry at 3:30. This has been Olivia Cohen, your host for today. Join us tomorrow with host David Pomerantz. Once again, this is Good Morning Hebrew Home. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel. Cohen out.
Hebrew home, good morning, Hebrew home. My heart is where the Hebrew home is. For where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew home.